So hey besties, let's go get into how we made those garlic Parmesan stuffed meatballs. So for our meatballs, we're first going to start off by preparing our veggies. I like to prepare all my veggies before I actually get started because it just makes the cooking process go so much easier. So because I'm not making a big portion, we're only going to go ahead and take half of an onion and we're going to dice up our onion just like this. After we get that onion diced up, we're going to go ahead and start working on some peppers. I have some peppers that I sliced up previously. I like to slice them up and put them in the freezer for when I need to cook with them. It just makes it so much easier. So I'm going to take a couple of them out of the freezer and we're going to go ahead and dice those up as well. I have some yellow peppers and I have some red peppers, and we're just going to go ahead and dice those up. After we get those diced up, we're just going to go ahead and put it to the side. Now I went in the fridge and I saw that I had some fresh herbs and I was going to go ahead and start chopping those up, but I decided to just save those for later. We are going to use them. I'm just not going to use them right now. So after my bell peppers was ready, we're going to go ahead, put that to the side, and then we are going to start working on our cheese. For the stuffing, you can use any kind of cheese that you like. You can use mozzarella, you can use Parmesan, you can use cheddar, whatever cheese you have that you like or your favorite cheese, you go ahead and use. I would have preferred to use mozzarella, but I was out of mozzarella, so we're just going to go ahead and use some sharp white cheddar cheese, and then I'm going to take that out because I had some left over from when we did mac and cheese, and I'm going to go ahead and just cube it up so that when we're going to put it inside of our meatball, it's going to be real simple. Now you can use shredded cheese, but for me, shredded cheese just makes it a whole lot more messier and a whole lot harder when it's time to go ahead and stuff our meatballs. So now that we have all our ingredients ready, we're going to go ahead and start working on our protein. For our protein, we're just going to use ground turkey today, and we're going to start off by adding our veggies first. We're going to go in with our onions. Once we get our onions in there, we're going to go in with our peppers. We have some yellow peppers and some red peppers. Once we get all our peppers in there, we're going to go ahead and start seasoning down our turkey. Now you go ahead and season it down the way you like it, but for me, I'm going to add in some of that Grill's Mates roasted garlic chipotle seasoning, and then we're going to add in a little bit of paprika, and of course I'm going to add in an all-purpose seasoning. I'm going to be using my Pretty Girls No Flavor all-purpose seasoning. I also have a Pretty Girls No Flavor Cajun seasoning, so I will leave the link in the comments section below so you guys can go onto the website. After that, we're going to add a little bit of that Tony seasoning, and we're going to go ahead and give it a good mix. This is how our turkey is looking like so far, and I decided to just add in those fresh herbs, so I'm going to go ahead and add in a little bit of thyme as well. After I get all of that in there, we're going to go ahead and add our thyme in there. I decided that I wanted to add the thyme in there as well because it's going to just bring another layer of flavor to our meatball. So now I'm just sitting here trying to get all these herbs off of the stick because I do not want any of the stick part in my meatballs. If I was doing rice or anything, I would just put the whole stick in there, but you don't want that in there. After that, we're going to go ahead and add in some Parmesan cheese, and I prefer to use the powdered cheese, but if you have the fresh cheese, you can go ahead and use that as well. Now that we got all our seasonings in there, we're going to go ahead and give our ground turkey a good mix, and now it's time to start forming our meatballs. So first, we're going to take some of the ground turkey. We're going to flatten it inside of our hand so we can make the space for the cheese. After we get the cheese in there, you're going to take some more meat and you're going to cover the cheese up, and then you're going to roll it in the shape of a ball. I take my meatballs very serious, so I try and get my meatballs in that ball as humanly perfect as possible. Once you got all your meatballs done, they should look something like this, and we're going to go ahead and stick them in the freezer. After they came out of the freezer, we went on ahead and got it in the egg wash, and while we are doing our egg wash and breadcrumbs to prepare our meatballs to get fried, you're going to go ahead and make sure you have your oil on so that your oil can come up to temperature. So I'm going to put it in those eggs, and after that I'm just going to dip it in some plain breadcrumbs. You do not need seasoned breadcrumbs because we already seasoned our meat really well, so we do not need to add any seasoned breadcrumbs. We can just use regular plain breadcrumbs. Once we get our meatballs coated in those breadcrumbs, it should look something like this. And then when our oil is nice and hot, we're going to go ahead and put our meatballs in there, and your oil should do something like that. I went on ahead and used this to lower my meatballs in the oven because they were kind of heavy and I didn't want anything to splash back. I didn't want no hot oil to splash on me. Now we're going to go ahead and start working on our cream sauce. I'm going to go ahead and add some heavy cream. I'm going to add some fresh Parmesan cheese to it, and then we're going to season that down with a little bit of Creole seasoning. After that combines together, I went ahead and got my pasta on a plate, poured some of that cream sauce on top. Then we're going to go ahead and add us a meatball on there with a little bit more Parmesan cheese on top. And then it is time to call that man and them kids and tell them to come eat. This is how the inside looked with our veggies and our cheese. And the cheese was just ooey gooey deliciousness. And my daughter came over there with her spoon because of course my food always tastes better and she wanted some. Now if you guys are loving these videos, don't forget to subscribe. Make sure that you leave me a like, put a comment in the comment section, and share this video out. Bye guys.